Guys, I wanted to talk to you about the process, what's happening inside the sun. And the sun's basically, it has this, a lot of, what do you call it, gases, from helium, argon, from all of that. I've learned that yesterday, guys. So I'm just teaching you what I've learned. Anyhow, all these gases react to each other, you know, and that what keep the sun emanating. And the sun sent electrical signal into basically your body, because we're created. The father is the sun and the moon is a mother. I think it's opposite. Is that opposite? I think the sun is the moon is the female and the sun is a male. Is it? Or the other way around? But anyhow, it doesn't matter. So the sun sent a signal, basically positively charged, to ignite this basically a little spark in you that charges your positive, your positive side, right? And associated with the sun. And then the moon is negative. So it loops around and it goes back to the sun. So when it loops around and it goes back to the sun, is after it charges this spark, it's become electromagnetic and it sends it back to the sun. That's how it goes. So basically you are electromagnetic being, because the sun, you are charged with the sun and the moon. Okay? So there's a lot of gases that help this process take place. Just look up online and remember, you need to just activate this area in your life in order to kickstart the healing process, and you'll be able to absorb the sunlight. You'll be able to heal, because once they're attacking you with all this stuff, frequency, radiation, and toxic element, and stuff, they do stuff like that. These people are very crafty, cunning, little bastards. But anyhow, these people are very cunning, and so you have to kind of think outside the box, how in order for you to heal. So anyhow, so yesterday I told you about how they split atom, and they take when they split an atom with radiation attacking you, they are taking the negative. The negative is all found in nature. So negative ions and negative, this little spark associated with the moon is healing. It's about healing. So you heal with this energy found in nature. So negative ion are healing, and positive is what you get from being around electronics and stuff like that. Wi-Fi signal, radio frequencies, Wi-Fi and 5G, 4G, 6G, 8G, 9G. They keep going up and up. Anyhow, that way they bombard you. They bombard you with radiation to release this, to fracture your atoms. So they will extract the negative ions, which is associated with the moon. You need it for healing. You need it to heal. And So it releases this, negative ion, and they harvest it. Because I told you, they don't want the sun. The sun is their enemy. The sun doesn't really agree with them because there's two serpents created their race. Their race is the jinn race. And so the two serpents are Eve and Satan. They have kids. They have little munchkins, little wicked ones. Anyhow, they created this jinn. Not all jinn are wicked. Okay, let me correct that. Not all jinn is wicked. But what we're dealing with is the most wicked. Excuse me. The most wicked and the most cunning, very deceptive. The one who's been lying about you, to everybody, that's the wicked one. You're dealing with the most wicked one. But anyhow, so they end up harvesting this negative ion. And they do it through trauma, because radiation create trauma in your body. It destroys your cells, Your cells, when your cells start to regenerate, when they keep hitting you, they are attacking the memory of the chromosomes that it has your DNA sequence. And so they do that. So your chromosomes does not generate, because when you're attacking with radiation, it loses the memory. Your DNA signature that God given you come from your parents, from all the way to Adam, So it's also associated with the atoms in your body, So when it started to regenerates itself, is not generating the right frequency, the right signature. So you begin to get sick, you get cancer, you get all sort of illnesses, and they get like all diseases, because it breaks your protective element that God given you, because they're bombarding you. They are attacking your cell structure, double helix, and they creating all the sickness and diseases, And I'm pretty sure, guys, I have cancer. I'm pretty sure. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. We're all gonna die. Just remember that. We all going to die. These people that are not gonna, live forever. What they've done to you will be judged. We live in a time where, remember the time where Moses went into Egypt and he wanted to get people out of Egypt, and they were being hostage. We've been held hostage by this Pharaoh bloodline. The Pharaoh bloodline are the one from Moses, and that God destroyed many times. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed, the flood. They've been killed many times, but they still continue to do these evil deeds. Anyhow, there are the 13 bloodline ruling the world. These are the people from the time of the flood, the time of Moses, are the same people. You understand? They are jinn. They are the jinn. I know they look like humans, but they are actually, the way they made up, they are the jinn. Everybody thinks the jinn is only demons. They're not demons. They're souls. Okay, there is many souls of jinn, going throughout the earth and whatnot. But the jinn are people, actual person. But the DNA is made of jinn. These people are jinn. I know they're telling you jinn are, unseen or whatnot. No. The 13 bloodline in the world are the jinn kingdom. The one you see from Lord of the Ring and you see from Harry Potter and all of that. Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter is Satan. If you notice in the TV show, no, is it a TV show or movie? Movie. He comes after Harry Potter with a snake. Remember the snake? Because he get his power from the snake. The snake is his power. So the snake always with him, and they attack the snake. If you attack the snake, you weaken him because he doesn't get his power. He get it from the snake. So just watch the show. So all of these people have snakes where they're using, who are attacking you in your apartment. They're sending these demonic snakes associated with Jupiter and Saturns and you name it. But anyhow, that's what they do. They also use this jinn that hover around the earth and actually so I'm gonna tell you, malevolence jinn that are wicked. There's the jinns are good. There's good jinn and there's bad jinn. What we're dealing with, the wicked one. But the good jinn, there is good jinn who does good things in life and they pray and they believe in God and stuff. And there is one, they do not believe in God. They don't think God exists. And because they were saved a couple of times by Baal and stuff. And during the flood, he told them to go up in the mountains to escape the flood. And some of them also went into pigs and monkeys because of their DNA, they can embody animals. They can go into animal because they are an unclean spirit. They are an unclean spirit, okay? So they could, go to animals that mostly animals are considered dirty. Pigs, monkeys, and dogs, not cats. Mostly they don't go into cats because cats are cleanest. They go into animals that are dirty, like werewolf, foxes. It's like dirty animals, So what they do is they go into these animals to escape judgments. And that why in Islam they teach you about the Prophet Isa coming back, and he's gonna what do we call it, kill all the pigs and I don't know, these animals that these people use, and remove the holy books from earth. And you could not write whatever you write about, you trying to remember what's in, because some people are can memorize the holy book. In Islam, and you go to a mosque, the imam memorized the whole book, so he knows Arafat. He could write the whole book, but whatever the imam writes, it erases automatically. It would not be, because God says to be lifted from earth. You understand? So, and then until you get to the point, people will forget these holy books, right? That's closest to judgments. Okay. Anyhow, that was I had a point I was trying to tell you. Anyhow, to get back what I'm trying to tell you from the beginning, I just got distracted because I've been bombarded with radiation all day long. Even when I walk in my apartment, my feet, I feel like the bottom of my feet hurt because they got radiation coming from the floors. I'm pretty sure from the apartment below me. They have things that are like beaming on the apartment above, which is mine. And so every time I step on the floor or I'm on a prayer mat trying to pray, my feet, the bottom of my feet hurts. So I know it's radiation. I've been cooked with radiation. You know, they're killing all my cells, and they're killing my atoms and chromosomes and all of that. You know, they are being hard at work. You know, when they say slow kill, they didn't lie. It's true. They're not doing it aggressively to kill you the same day. They're doing it over time. You die. You know, your body cannot heal. You know, that why I've been taking a lot of herbal medicines. I'm taking a lot of things to heal my DNA structure and stuff like that. You know, but whatever I've been taking is it's not working because they hit you hard with radiation. They hit you hard with radiation, non-stop. So that was going on, guys. And God still wants you to forgive your enemy. You want you to love your neighbor. You know, it's hard for me to forgive my enemy or love my neighbors. You know, because how could you forgive somebody who causing you harm day and night? How could you love somebody who want to hurt you? You know, how could you forgive someone with the true intention is to cause you as much affliction as they can? How could you love somebody like that? That's something I could never understand. You know, God is not making me forgive anybody. God is not demanding I should love my neighbors. He's want me to do it, but he's not making you because it falls under the free will. God cannot make you do it because he says this is the act, because it was given to you as a free will to decide. For example, I can decide to hurt somebody. That my own decision, right? God is not gonna be held accountable for this because it was my own action, right? And if I don't forgive anybody, if I don't forgive these people, or I don't love my neighbors, God cannot make me do it. You know, it has to come from you, from your heart. It has to come because it's God given to you. You know, God is giving it to you. He wants you to forgive. He wants you to forgive, you know, because God look at all creation as his children. And he tell you what's wrong, what's right, and where you should not cross. And then up to you to decide which path you want to follow. So if you hurt somebody, it's gonna count it against you. That's your sins transferred to the person who hurt you. You understand? That's cause and effect. The laws, God created the laws. You know why? Because you do something to somebody, that cause, because you created the effect. So it goes back to you. It's karma, And so anyhow, I understand. I understand why God wants us, but do I agree to it? No, I don't think I do agree. No, but I don't think I agree to forgive these people or love my enemy. Because I just can't do it. I cannot. These people, day and night, they've been nothing but pain of my existence. So how could you love somebody like that? How can you forgive somebody who hurt you day and night, done a lot of horrible things to you? Hey guys, 144,000, you have free will. We all have free will. Do as you wish. But I'm not doing it, you know, because these people, no matter how hard you explain to them, and you are being done unjustly in earth by these people, because these people are habitual liars. They're habitual liars. They spin lies like that. Look at the changing the word of God, and doing all this stuff to people, creating chaos on earth. Waging wars on people, and manipulating people to go to war for resources, and killing our children, eating our children, killing people in general is harming humanity, even harming the animal. They experiment on people, and they experiment on animals, and they when you see animals end up dead in a ditch somewhere, they use radio wave and weaponry and whatnot to kill these animals, and that would happen. They kill innocent animals. You find them found in a ditch, a bunch of cow dead or whatever you see on TV. That they use radiation, radio wave, laser beam and whatnot to kill these animals, because they experiment on an animal, right? To see how much destruction they could do. They use a laser to burn. That wildfire happened in Hawaii. Remember that a bunch of area just got burned. Houses got burned. And they're using laser beam weaponry, because that area, they wanted to buy that area, but people were living in it, so they couldn't really convince everybody to move. So they burned the whole area to get people to move, because Oprah and Elon Musk wanted to buy that area. They want to buy all this land. So they end up decimating that area to get people to. When you lose everything and they come and give you an offer, you accept it, because you don't want to rebuild. You don't want to rebuild. They pay you for the all burned rubbles and stuff like that, because you already lost everything. So people logically make sense where oh, this is more what I make. I just accept this money. I don't have to rebuild build another house and stuff. And that's what happened. That's what happened, guys. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what we 144,000 dealing with. These wicked people, the wealthiest, okay? And when you understand how things are done, you understand how these people can be very manipulative. So they're known to spin lies. They've been lying about us for how long? And yeah, there's more stories I'll tell you about what happened to me since I've been a target individual, And because I was telling you a story yesterday, and I remember I was walking, I'm telling you these stories about things happened to me and whatnot. I'm giving you great details. And then I started remembering things, a different story that I want to talk about. But then I just said to myself, I don't want to sit here, tell everything. The video is going to be too long. So, yeah. So I try to break it down, guys, for you guys from now on, and just tell you maybe one story or two story at a time. And the which is all based on fact. It's not made up like these people that lying to people to get them to participate in this program. No, it is based on fact. And yeah, so anyhow, 144,000, do not worry. Do not worry. These minions, they're going to be decimated, because we live in that time, the time of Noah, the time of Moses. Remember when he crossed the Nile, and God flooded the Nile, killed the Pharaoh. You know that Pharaoh? That Pharaoh who got killed, by God during Moses when he walked the people, because Moses is a channeler. He controlled water. He can control anything has to do with water, you know. And like Solomon is controlled the jinn. So all these prophets have gift. Prophet Isa he healed the sick, and people with leopard and stuff like that. So every prophet had a gift. Okay. So we live in that time now. We live in that time now where these people, they're going to be decimated. I just feel it. I feel it in my gut. Their end is near. Because usually when they're doing this, when Moses told to this Pharaoh to let people go and he refused, God killed him. So his bloodline left. You know what they left? They went to UK. Yeah. So the 13 bloodline, they're the English one, the Rothschild and the Crown and all of us, the 13 bloodline are the one related to the Pharaoh time, they are the same one. That's why when I went to a park in UK, and it was a house. There's a house was built there. It looked like a pharaoh. It has this Egyptian monument, and it has all these Egyptian, animals, and and then I went somewhere else too. It's like it also, UK also has the biggest Egyptian museum. It has not just that house in the park that had all of this things that has to do with Egypt. A lot of things. If you go through Egypt, UK, you'll understand they are the same people. They are the same people. Okay? So that's what we're dealing with. Usually when it comes to this time, usually destruction follows, and because they are refusing to let us go. They're refusing to stop harming us, and usually God will wage war on them, and so what's coming, I just feel it. I feel it in every core in my body that it's what's happening, what's coming to them is gonna be destruction. So yeah, so that day is very near, guys. Don't worry. Just stay put. Pray. Do not jump ship. Stay with God all the way, because God never loses. You are in a winning team. You fought a long, hard battle, and now there aren't enough. They aren't much long for us to succeed in this. Okay, so do not worry. Justice is gonna come. All right. So stay strong, and God will decimate these people out of the face of the earth.